me. So I want to hear a little bit from the star of the show tonight. You got that pun? Bet you never got that before, ever in your life.
Looks like we hit.
Star!
Looks like we hit our 10th person.
Stop it. Really?
You did?
Stop it. I'm so happy. Wait.
That's what
Wait,
Twitch
who?
chat says. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Wait, that could have been a donation. That's not necessarily
It
a
says new
member.
Ko-Fi subscription, so.
Oh my god. I'm gonna panic. Alright, first, Star, go ahead and tell us who you are, where we can find your beautiful face on the internet, and anything else that you would like us to know while I jump into Ko-fi real quick and see what the fuck just happened.
I'm Star Shinobi. You can find me at Star Shinobi on multiple platforms at this point. I'm only good at Twitter. I'm trying on the rest. You know, as Twitter falls into a burning trash pile, hopefully I will get better at the rest. But right now, this is where you find me. I will always say, if you ever need someone to help DM for a charity game or anything like that, my time is what I give. So please feel free to reach out if you need someone for that.
I pointed both ways, I wasn't sure which. Yes, y'all, Star is amazing, not just as a player, but also as a GM on her very own, so go do all the cool things with Star, please. Wait, what is happening? I wish I knew.
Chaos and disorder, that's what's happening.
I think what's happening is not only is Star in the hot seat tonight, she will be writing a fanfiction as we have hit our 10-person goal on the Breakfast Club. So, no, big deal. Oh, yeah. I'm already celebrating. See, this is already a win. I'm so freaking happy. Now, we're gonna move forward. Are you ready? I don't know. None of us are ready. It's so fine.
There's so much panic, but I am so ready.
Much panic.
Let me take a drink of wine and we'll be ready to go.
We have a variety of safety tools, as always, that we keep in place here at the Waffles Maple Syrup Club Twitch. I didn't have a cool name for it. I panicked halfway through this space to keep the cast safe and comfortable, you, the audience, also safe and comfortable, and our show as accessible as we are able to make it. So please, if you have any questions on that, know that you're welcome to jump into the Discord to ask questions about our safety tools. If you want to adapt them to your own Waffle House, that would have been so good. Okay, it's fine. Everything's great. If you have any questions on safety tools,
Sugar Shack.
come on over.
Come on.
Oh God, gosh, I'm failing left and right today. It's great.
The Sugar Shack is what we called our maple syrup thing at my college. So
that's interesting. We don't talk about maple, which makes that very interesting. I will find a way to incorporate that one way or the other. Anyways, y'all, we'll fix it in post. It's gonna be great. If your video editor says we'll fix it in post, you know you're good. Thank you, Elena. With that is our usual preamble out of the way. So I can now say, welcome to this one-on-one session between Arifey and me, the GM, brought to you thanks to our Ko-fi support. We do not have many announcements other than the fact that we have an amazing Ko-fi goal that you can see down below here. It is for brand new art for Season 2 of Outcast and Outclassed, which is what we're doing here. We're prepping so hard behind the scenes for an amazing Season 2. We're so excited for it. If you can help us make it even better with some amazing new character art, everybody has new outfits that they're ready to go for and all these things. So help us make it happen. We'll appreciate you very, very much. Well, I think that's going to be it for right now. I guess everybody better get their butts into some seats because class is about to begin. See you in class. So we're going to begin this the same way. We're going to begin every one-on-one session. I like to make these as piecemeal as possible. If you come here, this is your first time, welcome on in, take a seat. Class is in session. Now, after the attack of the Anadis and the final meeting with Teacher Ott, things begin to slowly return to a sense of normalcy at the Magaambya. You are waiting for the famed Genetimo to return to campus. This individual, who is not only Teacher Ott's own beloved mentor, but from all that you hear, one of the Magaambya's cleverest lore speakers and the leader of the Uzunjanti. Now, the teachers and packs of students running about with important missives and missions transitions back to outdoor classes and strolling students. The weather, with its innate sense of timing, seems to be transitioning along with current events. The hot days of summer are beginning to cool. Touches of early autumn are felt in the air, and everyone seems eager to maximize their time before the rainy season begins anew. You, Arifey, have been here 9 months now. Soon it'll be a year. Now, this passage of time, is one you have felt perhaps most amongst all of your cohort. Because for you, this may be some of the longest stretch of time that you can remember in your lifetime. Or has it? Things have been a little convoluted since the circus incident. It's less that the floodgates in your mind suddenly opened, and it's more like pinpricks of light have punctured through this wall, this mental block, and little trickles and fragments of lost pieces have found their way to you. So, this is the first time in quite some time that your attention has not been swept away by somebody or something. I'd say it's early afternoon, and you have been let out of early from Teacher Ulawa's class, which lately, by the way, has been a rather annoying experience. Most of the time she ignores you, which isn't that unusual because she ignores nearly everyone who isn't her favorite students.
She liked me in the beginning. I don't understand.
But since the efforts outside of Tireless Hall have wrapped up, she's been especially prickly, prone to ending class early or leaving you to your group activities. Now, today she assigned you all to group up, pick from a list of animals or insects, and formulate 3 research theories as to why they developed a particular survival trait. And that's fine. Except she had asked you to do the exactly same assignment last week. Now, when Anchor Root in your class summed up the courage, Anchor Root summing up courage here, to raise her hand and ask about this, Teacher Ulawa snapped back with an exasperated, "Fine, class dismissed then," and marched out of the room. Now, it took another 20 minutes of multiple students consoling Anchor Root, and honestly a rather impressive, if not extreme, act of athleticism from Habram in an attempt to distract and cajole Anchor Root into a better mood before you actually left the classroom.
Alright, I have a new enemy because ain't nobody go after my girl.
That's fair. So now, with even more free time than originally expected, no immediate demands on your attention, I have to ask, what does Arifey do?
Yeah, because I suppose the other 3 are still in class since they are all Cascade Bearers and...
Yes, it's one of those, y'all's schedules occasionally sync up. Other times it's like one of the worst weeks. I would say like it's like an off week, on week, where like on week your classes end up lining up, and then off weeks it's like they're always, usually you don't see them until like the evening, and this is definitely one of those things that not only are you let out early, you're not really planning to see them for a little bit now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think she has kind of come to starting to explore a little bit on her own, taking long walks through Natambu and things like that. But she is having that realization that she really hasn't had a minute to think since the circus.
Yeah. You think back to like the events a little bit of like everything that's okay. The circus happened. It was clearly a lot, and not only was it a development from everything that you remember now that you didn't before, you have a shadow that is interacting with you a little bit more. And even though these interactions have been more frequent where they're actually able to, the shadow's able to like speak to you and things like that, you were immediately thrust back into effectively a dungeon crawl with the whole stone ghost situation. And beyond that, I mean, then you got back, you rested, then the Anadis hit, and then you had meetings with Teacher Odd, and then like all these things happened, and like everything just went back to class after that.
Yeah, it's
and actually after all that was after Tireless Hall, which you remember was like you had a conversation with Noxolo, who brought you cookies the breakfast pastries the day before you ended up going down into the caverns. Like, it's been a lot and been very fast.
It's been a lot, and it's one of those, like, I feel like after everything kind of slowed down to the point of Arifey having that moment of kind of shutting down for a moment, letting herself have that moment to relax, but now she's pulling back out into the kind of being a little bit more social. So in her mind, she's thinking of those things, and she does kind of land on those pastries because she realized she hasn't seen Noxolo since then, and she never thanked them for it.
Gotcha.
Plus, Noxolo has been kind of sitting in her mind because they did have a brief conversation, and it just kind of never met up again.
Yeah. I mean, I would say of the busy, and then like of the times that you finally had some time to breathe, this is probably one of the first times that you've had the time to maybe go and catch up. So is your intent to look for Noxolo?
Yeah, so since she has a moment, she has no class, she doesn't feel like she has to look after anybody at this point.
What a strange feeling.
I know. Arifey's having the moment where she doesn't actually think of other people. She's able to kind of think of something that she's able to put herself first, because she's just unable to do that on a regular basis. She just can't do that.
Interestingly, though, you have the time now to perhaps sit with yourself or sit with your memories. Your eyes, your mental thoughts wander to, well, maybe I could just talk to this other person.
Yeah, I mean, there's that moment of, I could sit down and have a little bit of time, or I could not let my brain do that, and I'm gonna go talk to Noxolo.
Excellent. Where would you go to look for Noxolo? Let's say you're kind of somewhere, let's say you're kind of getting let out of class right now, one of the buildings.
Well, coming to realize, I don't think she knows where Noxolo's room is, so she probably wouldn't go there first.
Okay, fair enough.
So she would probably start looking for her in the food hall, and if they're not there, her mind would kind of wander a little bit more towards the fact that Noxolo is very comfortable with decay and death. So she would try and think of somewhere on campus where maybe that is a little more prevalent.
Ooh, okay.
Which she can only think of one place, but I don't think Noxolo would know.
You should go all the way out into the woods, and I hear there's a little mushroom guy buried somewhere out there. I think that's clearly where. No, do not do that. Do not go looking for more of those guys.
I wonder where
Okay,
that
so-
mycelid village is.
Colony? What are you talking about? There is no mycelid colony. We don't talk about that. It's like Maple. We just don't
It's
talk
like
about
Maple. Is the mycelid colony called Maple?
it. No. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Tal one is buried.
So you begin to kind of like wander around and think, okay, where would they be? So you start at the food hall, see and ask around, see if anybody's kind of like seen them, and you kind of get like a no clue. I think they were here for breakfast, but then they went to class. Like, and they're just sort of like nobody's really able to. They like to wander a lot. So what I would like you to do, just for the ease of trying to track Noxolo down, let's make, you can do either sort of a society check in which you're kind of like asking people and trying to, well, I don't know if that's society as much. Diplomacy maybe to ask people and look around, or perception if you're just kind of sticking to yourself and trying to search for them.
Well, Arifey's gonna go with diplomacy since she's a +10 to that.
Perfect.
Oh. Well, that is I can't read these. 23.
Ooh, I love it. Okay. So here's what you do. You first find Anchor Root, who, because you would know where they were because you came out of the class together. And they're still a little shaky or anything, and they say that like, well, it's not kind of look outside, they confirm it's not any of their classes right now, so they should probably be out and around. And then you manage to find Ignacy actually in passing, who I know that look. And though
little insight for everybody else, because this is an Arifey one-on-one. Arifey trusts everyone except for Ignacy for some reason. And even I can't tell you why red flags pop up for her because of Ignacy.
a strange one.
There's something about Ignacy that
I love this so much.
and she doesn't know why. Star doesn't know why. Just something about Ignacy is just throwing up all kinds of red flags for her.
I am doing my job. So with that, you do see Ignacy kind of in passing, and you've seen Noxolo and Ignacy like talking enough on occasion that you know that they have some form of camaraderie. Though you know with Ignacy, like you don't think anybody, like Ignacy doesn't think anybody's his friend necessarily. Like other people, you're like, oh yes, they're friends. Like Anchor Root and Noxolo, you'd be like, oh, they're friends. Ignacy, like you're like, no, he's not friends with anybody. But nonetheless, of people that are not his friends, he talks a lot with Noxolo. Mm-hmm. So you kind of stop him on his way out of the dorms, which you kind of swung back around to, and you see him kind of look and step outside, and at first you think he's ignoring you. So he hears your question, he looks at you, and then he looks back out the door and just walks away from you, which at first is incredibly rude. But then you see him stop and look up at the sky, and he goes, "It's a nice day out, and they were talking earlier about the right outfit for a day like today. They're probably in the fields." And he kind of points in a direction where you know is sort of this just like one of the main like just open areas on campus, one of the places people hang out, have picnics, things like that. And in a very, very knowledgeable, like for sure kind of way.
Mm-hmm. And as he is walking away from her, she's gonna go, "I hope you're feeling better."
You see him kind of like run his hands through his hair, and he's just like, "Much." And he turns around and just goes like off to class. And so you go in the direction.
I see so many parallels between him and Ark, and I trust Ark inherently, and I do not trust Ignacy at all.
And what helps is that you're in a cohort with Ark, and you have a bit more conversation. But you go out, and indeed, as you step out, the air is a little bit cooler. It is a lovely day. There is a light wind. It is truly, truly nice. And maybe it wasn't until Ignacy pointed it out that you really kind of step out again from the dorms and like feel the breeze, and you're like, oh, okay, it is a nice day. And you head off to the fields. in the direction that Ignacy pointed. There, almost immediately, kind of almost alone in this space, as it's still relatively early and most people are in classes currently. You do see off to the side there is like a class being held outside, and there's like a lecture happening and like the grass over there and things like that. But
And I instantly look for the other 3 to see if they're in there.
oh, make a perception check. Let's see if this is the class where they are. For no reason other than we must know.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, okay.
Apparently 13 is the number for my new jingle dice.
Ooh, they jingle. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. So you actually spot, I would say, Tal, in the class, though it's like in the midst of a lecture. And you kind of recognize a few of the other students, and you recognize this as like a Uzunjanti class. And that's why you see Tal over there. But they're deep in lecture.
Yeah, she doesn't have any like intent to like distract them or anything. It's just more of, like, she's at the point where every time something's going on, she tries to clock where they are.
Nice. Your attention turns towards the other side of the field, where it's relatively empty except for a sole figure. It is, with that carrying over that perception check, very quick for you to recognize Noxolo. Now, the thing is, Noxolo is sporting a new hairstyle from when you last saw them. Cut shorter and swept back, and instead of all off to one side. And a full, even from, like, as you kind of start beginning to approach, like a perfectly faded undercut, like all throughout. And they look incredibly...
Oh, I'm over this character.
They look incredibly striking in a white dashiki with red and black patterning along the collar and hem, matching pants and black sandals. But then again, you can't think of a time when they haven't looked incredibly put together, even after the fight in Tireless Hall. You see their attendant mask, the white nosoi, which was like the plague doctor-like mask, swinging lazily from their hip. And they are standing in this field with something in their hands, looking up at the sky. And their snabble, you notice, seems to be sprawled out in a patch of sun, chomping on like the long grass, like full frog-legged out, just like lazing in the sun. And as you follow Noxolo's sight upwards, you see that they're just flying a kite, it seems, and as such have yet to notice you.
So she's going to walk up and make sure that she talks far enough away that it's not like I'm right behind you. Like, it's a nice day to do some kind of flying.
Arifey. And they don't turn to you. They just, like, respond immediately as they're still looking up at their kite. Arifey, yes, it's a wonderful day. And you see them kind of take this kite, and even though they're kind of pulling it back in the sky, they pull it over their head and do like a little like circle amongst. They just kind of like circle themselves around and come back to where they were, almost like they were just like Sound of Musicking, like in the field. Like, it's a lovely day.
Lovely day.
What brings you here?
Well, I was actually looking for you.
I'm here.
I wanted to say thank you for, I know it's been a bit, but thank you for the pastries the other day and for taking care of us.
Oh, of course. And at this point, she kind of does turn to look at you. I'm so sorry. They turn to look at you. They kind of look at you with do a once over for you. And I would like you to make either a deception or diplomacy of your choice to try to keep from being read, or just I'll let you can kind of tell me, but they're basically trying to get a full read on what's going on as to why you actually sought them out.
Okay. I think it's more fun that she's trying to do deception because I'm not as good at it.
Excellent. Excellent. I
And
love this.
her walls are a little bit down today because she doesn't feel like she's in protection mode like she is 90% of the time. I think the 1 is apt at this point.
A natural 1. Yes. So they look you over.
The story knows what I need.
The dice know. They turn to you. They look you over. And they kind of do this thing where they'll take a step towards you, realize their kite is in their hand still, and they kind of turn around, and you see them kind of reach down to their snabel, and they just like put their hand like under its little belly. And remember, the snabel, to remind everybody, visual, looks like some fuzzy cross between like a crocodile and a bear cub. It's very odd.
I need this plushie. I need this.
And they kind of like just like put their hand like under their chest, lift them up, and then like put the end of the handle of this kite like under their body, and then just put them back down, and the snabel just like lays there, and they just basically use it as like this paperweight for the kite.
I just imagine they're one of those creatures that makes that like noise.
I love it. Yes, that's it. 100%.
Like they make fat dog noises.
They just do a little bit of like snorting, like croaking weird sounds. Absolutely. I love this. And it just does that. It doesn't care, and it goes back to chomping on the grass. And they turn back around to you, and in like 2-3 steps, they kind of step up to you. They clasp you on either, like on your arms, like either side, and then they sit cross-legged into like the grass, almost kind of like pulling you down.
Pulls me down with them. Oh, okay.
And so they sit now cross-legged, like immediate, like right directly in front of you, face to face. Okay.
I guess we haven't talked much since the ceremony, and I feel kind of bad about that.
Why do you feel bad?
I feel like I should have come and talked with you more sooner.
Oh. Well, I'm fine. And you've been busy, haven't you?
Yes, but I should make time.
You can make time?
I
always thought it was pretty limited.
She's kind of taken aback because other than the other 3, her experience has always been people expected her time. So the fact that someone's just like, whatever.
You've been busy.
You've been busy. This is stupidly jarring to her.
Yeah. I think with carrying over that natural 1, I think that carries through very clearly on Arifey's face. Now, are they sort of just stammered and taken aback into sort of like unsurety what to say, or what? Describe a little bit to me, like what is coming across Arifey's face currently.
I think she's unable to stop like the confusion, because usually you get things like an unhonest, oh, that's fine, or, well, yeah, maybe we should have talked a little bit more. Like she was expecting not happy to insincerity, and she just got an honest, okay. And so I think that's what really kind of threw her hard.
Well, that aside, kind of just seeing that you seem to be a little bit like at a loss for some words, I hope that the pastries found you well. I know that it was going to be a busy day, so I hope they were not just a kind gesture, but useful.
Oh, extremely. It was a very long day that day.
Yeah, there was a lot going on around campus, it's nice to see that it's quieted down a little bit. Has that been good for you?
I think so. In all honesty, I'm someone who kind of likes to stay busy. So it's hard to figure out what to do with myself when there's nothing to actually do.
Natural 19. Do you like to stay busy? Or do you not like to not be busy? Now we're just rolling off and staring at each other. What have I rolled?
Honesty check. Oh, come on, camera.
Oh, it's okay.
Pay attention to me. Okay. If I'm being honest, I don't like not being busy. I feel like I need to.
Yeah. Where does that come from? And even though they ask, it's such a deep hitting question, their body language changes in a way of sort of like they've been staring at you, like sitting cross-legged, full attention. And even though, so now when they have looked at you, eye contact, when they ask this question, but they soften it immediately with their body language as they sort of like open up a little bit from just being so straight on one-on-one with you, and they sort of shift backwards, putting a hand back and stretching a leg out to kind of like the side in the grass. And so there's a sort of casualness to the hard hitting.
And it's one of those of, she starts answering before she even realizes, like, usually she would lie about something like this. Well, where I come from, usefulness is most important.
Where do you come from?
Did we ever decide on a name of my village?
Oh crap! Oh god! I don't know.
What's my village name?
I'm sure. Oh god, it's somewhere deep in our notes.
It's a very
Insert name here.
small village way to the north. It's not very well known here.
That's its location, but like, where do you come from?
I mean, the village's name is Arishel, if you heard of that.
No, I really haven't.
I didn't think so. Not many have.
That's okay. There's so many places I haven't. Writes down the name I just
know.
made up.
Arishel. Okay.
But I can rephrase it. What kind of life did you come from?
Ooh, that one. There's a flash of panic a little bit.
They kind of sit back up and reach over. Only if you're comfortable. Of course. Or if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable.
How do you do this?
Do what?
And in the back of Arifey's mind, it's because she goes, I've never felt like I want to answer these questions before. So it's in her mind of, how in the hell is this person just getting me to say these things?
Here, try this. And they'll like kind of take your shoulder and like try to like basically gently guide you to just lay down. And they also lay down on their back in the grass. Arifey do that? Like they just lay down?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of resistance at first, but it's like, oh, okay.
And so they sprawl out, and you see them out of the corner of your eye. Like their arms are just absolutely sprawled out, hands kind of in the grass, and staring up at the sky. Try now. Kind of look up and watch the kite at this point, not having like the proper resistance from the paperweight of a
The kite
snabble,
just went-
is sort of like you see it kind of as landed in like the grass, actually stuck in a branch like off to the side over there, and you don't think they've noticed, and you kind of continue looking upwards, and you see like the sky is so blue, and there's like the fluffiest clouds in the sky, and you just watch them for a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they'd just be sitting in silence for a while until, Arifey is kind of like feeling the grass and just kind of finding that connection that she usually has when her curse is on with the plants below her. And she, after a while, will just go, I don't actually know.
There's some power in not knowing. I didn't have that luxury.
You think it would be freeing. But instead, you're trying to be the person that everyone tells you were, without knowing who that really was.
Now you're met with some silence, to the point where you might break your gaze from the sky and glance over, and you see they have, before where they would have a lazy smile or something, you see that now their eyes have closed. There is no smile on their face, and they just take a deep breath in through their nose.
Are you all right?
Yeah. Getting better. But it wasn't always that way, and that's why I'm here. Would you be comfortable if I told you about something similar?
Arifey feels that instant moment of yes, because one, she has diverted away from herself, as she always tries to do, and this is what she thinks she's good at, is being someone's person. She doesn't expect someone to be her person, but she expects to be someone's person. So
and you
she's
see that
all for it.
Nox Solo, even though they don't look at you, as soon as you answer yes, perhaps there was just a little bit too much enthusiasm in that voice or something that they caught on to, as they raise like one finger up from the grass, and they're like, I do not need comfort, for I have found my comfort. But perhaps the stories of others can help you in your own story. And they kind of, in that way, let you know that they are not so much diverting as giving you some more information for perhaps a continued conversation.
And in that, she's just going to relax and kind of go back to listening intently, but looking back up at the sky.
I fled my home. And that is why I have no family that came to the masking ceremony, and why I am not sad nor upset that no one showed. I am grateful that no one showed. You may come from a place of not knowing, but I came from a place of having everything told to me. Everything. I knew who I would marry, what I would study, where I would live, where I would work, what I would do. Every age, every moment of my life was planned for me. They meant well, but they gave me no room to be me. They told me, and they continued, and they would not let me stray from that path. Eventually, I began to hear whispers from dead birds. Cow bones would tell me I would find my freedom here. I guess in a way, it was this or a fate far worse. So I escaped. And along the way, I hid from them, and they looked for a girl. So I dressed like a man. And I found that I liked it. And it was easier and less worrying. And I realized that I didn't have to conform to anything that they decided for me. And now that I'm here, I will change my hair as often as I would like. I will wear whatever I like. And I am my own person. But I understand when people tell you who you are. That does not have to be who you are. You can decide that on your own. Because they are not here. You said they are far to the north. You are here.
How did you let it go?
Let what go?
The expectation.
I don't know that I fully have. I remind myself with little acts of rebellion to myself. I notice it even here, though again, I don't think anybody means any harm. And they open their eyes at this point and kind of look over to you. There is still a fear of death and darkness that I don't feel. I almost found my freedom in death. So, what is so wrong with that?
And in the back of Arifey's mind, she's reminded of someone, but she can't grasp it.
Yeah.
Like this is hitting something that she's not able to connect.
There's a
anything to.
frequency here in some of these words, and it's a little mismatched. It's a little not perfect, but there is this air of familiarity. Absolutely.
You know, I don't. It's a little refreshing to meet someone who isn't scared of that.
I'm scared. Of course I am scared. I'm scared. But I won't let that stop me. That's what matters.
That's amazing. Very inspirational.
So you tell me that you are expected of. You are told who you must be.
In that we are the same. Yes.
What is this expectation?
Well, I don't like making things about me, but you've been open and honest with me. I don't have anything from before, about 15 months ago, year and a half about. I don't know who I was, what I did. I woke up one day. I just woke up. And I was told this story that I had finally banished the great demon that had plagued our village, the one that had killed my mother. But it had taken everything to do it. My memories, my power that I apparently had. And when I woke up, I was told stories of this great healer and how I could do anything and heal so many people, and I kept us safe, and there was nothing but disappointment when I couldn't do it anymore. And so I tried and I tried and I couldn't do it, and they finally decided that I should come here to learn so I can go back and be Arifey again.
Their version of Arifey.
It's all I have.
What did your mother do? And there's a sort of like everything with Noxolo has been very carefully worded, and you don't think that they would have just randomly asked something so off the beaten path.
Well, to be honest, I was told about them. My mother was a protector. The bow that I have in my room is my mother's. She protected us until the demon killed her and her troop. And my Nibby before her, she was also a follower of Phrasma, believer in balance. She passed away as well.
You see Noxolo kind of sit up, and their hands are in their lap, and they seem to just stare at them, but their brow kind of furrow. When did your mother pass away?
My mother passed away when I was 12, so 13 years ago, about.
And your Nibby?
Oh, I was very young, 6.
Who raised you?
Our village elder, Infar, took care of me after that. My village has like I said, believes in being useful, so when there's an empty hole, we band together to fill it.
Your village is small?
It's the largest in our area, but it is very small.
If it is the largest in the area, what is their source of income? Their main trade? You can make a society check for me if you'd like.
So this plays into it. 8?
8. Now this is a interesting 8 because it's not a full lack of knowledge, though your memories are obviously hold here. The village elder, though, if the village elder raised you, then you would have a good, clear understanding of sort of like
right.
How does this village operate?
Right.
And you can't recall
I don't know
anything in particular. And it fills you with a very weird feeling. You have no clue what your village's income is.
I don't know. I mean, lots of people make things, but it's usually for people in the village. I don't know. I don't know. Noxolo, I don't know. There's a slight slight panic that's starting to build up.
Mm-hmm.
I should know that.
Noxolo looks over at you, and you're kind of lost in your head for a second. And then when you look back over at them and you're like, I don't know, they're staring at you. What do you do for the village, according to them?
I heal people. Was
she
Was I the moneymaker?
I don't know. But they get up onto like their knees to kind of like sit up a little bit further, kind of pull their knees under them, their feet under them. It's possible. But also, you only have what they've told you.
Very true.
Just remember that.
And she doesn't say anything, but there is that moment of, you have a little, that pops into her own head.
Mm-hmm. At this point, the Snabble starts to kind of like crawl over forward and like leaving like the thing it was paperweighting behind. Yeah, the crash kite. Noxola kind of looks over and goes, oh. They kind of look at you. You seem to have some things to think about.
You know, one of these times, I will have a conversation with you that doesn't end in a therapy session, I promise.
Oh. Was this a therapy session? I thought we were storytelling. They give you this grin. And they reach up as they kind of stand up to go to their kite, but they reach up and like kind of go to like help you up.
And Arifey will take her hand and stand up. If you ever need anything, I'm here for you too, you know.
Thanks. I appreciate that. A lot.
By the way, I do love the hair.
Thank you. I told Ignacy it was wonderful. He thought otherwise.
Ignacy doesn't know what he's talking about. Ever.
I think he's just jealous.
Yeah.
Oh, Arifey.
I agree.
Can you help me?
Of course.
They point to the kite.
Oh.
And with
I
that,
will grab my animal staff and start trying to shake it out of the tree.
And with that, we kind of like zoom out a little bit as you kind of start working with Exola to try to get this thing out. Snabble is not helpful at all and keeps getting underfoot, thinking like there's some game going on, and it's this like chaotic mess that leaves you one with a successfully retrieved kite, slightly broken kite, but yet successfully retrieved. And Noxola kind of thinks he takes it and naturally moves on to a class or wherever they have to go next. And though this was a nice little distraction, once they leave, you are left with some disquiet because of this realization, this hole in the story that you have found, this hole in the story that you've been told.
Why do you do this to me, Syrup?
Because I can. And not only that, let's kind of recount a couple of things that you've told me so far.
Mm-hmm.
There's an air of familiarity that you cannot place. There's a hole in the story that leaves you uncomfortable. Let me ask, does it leave you angry?
Yes.
And if it's budding and not yet fully realized, that is valid.
There has been something gnawing, underlying on Arifey for a while, ever since the first fucking letter. Because she was angry about that. And then Infar came and essentially trying to push this timeline along, and she's angry about that. And now these memories have come through, and that sparked something that she doesn't know why she's angry about that. And now this. So we are seething undertone at this point.
And when Noxola leaves, that is what you are left with. And one additional thing from Noxolo pops into your mind through this anger. One, you have some more sitting and searching with your memories and thoughts to do, yes, and you have been putting it away for a while now, and perhaps this anger helps fuel that overcoming of delaying. And then the words, "What is so wrong with death?" ring in your ear once more. Because there has been a lot since you've come to this school. And you have been in every fight, in every encounter, fighting tooth and nail to protect your friends. And you know you don't want them to come to harm. But is that your job? Is that what you have to do? Because you were told that that's your job? And you begin to sort of pull into this anger and this confusion. What does Arifey do at this point?
Well, so she's sorry, I just saw chat. Arc never wanted it.
It's not about you, Arc.
It's a little bit about you. No. So it's Arifey is always trying to push off this air of positivity. So as she's feeling this anger pop up, she's like, I gotta go to my room. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So she's gonna
beeline back through campus.
Beeline back to it. As she walks in, she's going to say hello to WafflesMapleSyrup and peanut butter. I have them in my room.
It's true. They flutter at your arrival, but I think kind of sensing the atmosphere, quickly kind of like settle down and off to their little shenanigans in the corner.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna kind of just go to her bow, and she's just gonna kind of contemplate it again, because now she's seen the face of her mother.
Yeah.
So she has an association to this now. But as she's talking or thinking about this, she's thinking about Noxolo, about their comfortability with death, and then her parents we talked about death. She was very surprised to have someone else who's comfortable with it. And then she has this realization that I have a scroll or something under my mattress.
You do.
And she's gonna go underneath there and grab that page of the ritual of create
that
undead.
You found in the tree stump library turned sprout house. Create undead modified version. You go reach under your mattress and pull it out. Think back to Stone Ghost and how they were in and about your room and they took things from here. And you can't help but be grateful that perhaps it's a good thing that you hid this the way that you did and that was not found. But as you go to reach for it, you hear a familiar voice as your shadow coalesces beside you. What are you doing?
Thought I should actually take a look at this. Who knows?
The shadow sort of like moves around, and as you pull it out and unfurl it, looks kind of the equivalent of looks over your shoulder from the shadowed ground that it is in. Why'd you... There's like a pause, and you can almost feel their eyes sort of squinting at you, though you see nothing. You're angry. Finally.
Finally.
Why are you grabbing this now?
Part of it is I remember it's there. Part of it is it doesn't feel so scary anymore.
Yeah.
I guess.
So what are you gonna do?
I was thinking about trying it.
Trying it?
I don't know. I mean, it still feels wrong? Not quite right, but an arc pops into her head. Useful.
Yeah. Could be useful. What do you need for it?
She
Start
looks through it, and so she can't really. I don't feel like she can really comprehend it all that well.
So, rituals are interesting. To take a quick step mechanically, you
Yes.
have this piece of paper that dictates out a ritual. Now it's not just like a short little note paper. Rituals are complex and long. This particular ritual technically takes a day to do. But you are able to read it, the language. It's words on a page. You can read it. But that is different than learning how to do a ritual, right? Now, technically, the rules in Pathfinder for ritual learning are not really specified. There are rules for learning a spell. Learning a ritual is sort of a little bit left to GM discretion. So the way I'm going to do things right now is we're going to pull a little bit from the learning a spell activity.
Mhm.
You have the rest of the day and the evening to yourself. So for this particular thing, if you wish to learn it, to know it, you can do so. But it will take more than reading this. It will take connecting to it on some level. It will take a roll.
Okay.
And it will take the understanding of all of the components and necessities that the ritual requires. Whatever that necessarily means.
Okay.
So this...
Oh no, you sneaky. Just
So
for
let's
everyone
talk.
else
This
to
is...
realize why I'm doing this, I need a corpse.
Yeah, the target is a one dead creature. So you begin to read this and realize that this is going to take you some time to learn if you wish to learn it. But more than that, you need a dead creature. Do you wish to learn it?
Yafiro, will you stay with me when I do this?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think I just need a little bit until it gets dark.
Yeah. You
What
sure you
time
want to
of
learn
day?
this, Arifey?
Knowing it doesn't mean I have to use it.
That's
But
true.
if I need it, I have it. Right?
Yeah. That's smart. That's practical. It's good.
Okay. And just I guess for ease, she's gonna wait until it's dark.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And after she's sure everyone has gone to bed, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh, I can. I'm ready.
I buried Kershkin a while ago on campus.
Holy shit. I was like, where are you gonna get a corpse from? Yeah, you did, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
I did I see Maria in the chat?
Okay.
Yeah, so she is going to
On campus
Mhm.
by the
By the shed.
ceremony stage. And y'all went into the woods a little bit to bury Kershkin, if I recall.
I buried Kershkin next to the shed that the gremlins originally came through because we wanted to have Kershkin somewhere that the gremlins could visit her.
Interesting.
So
Okay, hold on. Because I remember y'all were at the ceremony stage where like all the teachers were coming from.
yeah, so that's where we fought her.
And then y'all went off though, and that's why y'all came back late. Okay, so y'all went off a little bit and buried Kershkin. Okay, so for our ease, we'll say it's nearby enough.
Yep.
To that area. Okay, so you know where you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
So late at night, you go. And you pass through campus. It's quiet. It's not so late that there's nobody about, but there's less people about. And you go off to find the location in which you buried Kershkin.
I'm going to use my mask to blend into shadows so that nobody sees me.
Yafira emerges from the ground and enshrouds you, and you feel her comforting presence. For it is comforting, nonetheless, when she is around you like this. And you've done this a couple times now. I think this is like your second or third time doing this. And it's like having somebody wrap you in a hug. You feel comfortable in these shadows. And you slip through completely unnoticed. No, I need you to roll for me. Make a stealth check for me.
Okay, I gotta remember what this mask does for.
Yeah.
Where is it? Gear. There we go. All right. Oh, it just says I'm allowed to have a stealth check. It doesn't give me extra. Dang, mask. All right.
I will give you a +2 to this situationally. It's like having kind of like cover to an extent or behind it. It's dark. I'll let it happen.
There's no number where I just roll this. All right, we're gonna grab a different dice. There's no number on the spot that I just rolled.
What you do is you have to read all the other numbers and see which is missing.
I know. I'm not holding this up for that. Okay.
I'm kidding.
All right, jingle dice. I'll deal with you later. 19 for a 27.
You are the knight.
I am the knight.
Screech. Okay. You slip away. As far as you can tell, entirely unnoticed. You leave the dorms, you walk through the shadow, you dodge the pools of light, and feel like you just step into shadow and are covered in a blanket. And you step through until you reach the shed. In the dark, the shed and the space is close to the thicket of trees that bordered the ceremony stage. And in this dark, the trees and the shadows of those trees loom over. But there's not much light on this side where this where this grave has been dug. There is, I'll say the path is not all that far off, and the ceremony stage, because it is currently not in use, does not have any lights on it either. So you are sort of in this space, ceremony stage, kind of like down a little bit over there to your left, to your right, the shed, and there, right bordering it, a thicket of trees. You think you are cornered enough to have some privacy here. What do you do?
Does it look like there's been any other activity near this? Like, has there been? Does it look like gremlins have been coming from the shed?
Make a perception check for me. This music.
Is this from lore? Perception. 24.
Okay. It is dark, but you have dark vision, correct? Like you're
Yes.
perfectly fine.
Yep, I am a bright fetchling. I can see in the dark.
You look around. You see a slight sort of mound where you know you buried this body. It is small. It's a gremlin. It was not a large task in particular. The dirt, relatively fresh. There has been rains. There has been months that have passed. Aside from the wear and tear of time passing, not much time, enough time. You don't see any signs of footprints or movement otherwise.
This still
need-
feels bad.
I know, but you're just learning, right? You want to just understand.
Right.
I don't think that's bad, personally.
Okay. Let's learn. And she's gonna pull out the ritual and just start reading through it to see if she can figure out what she needs to do.
Yeah. So, I will say there is a cost to this. A black onyx. However, you know that you have the target here, you have the knowledge here. You're not here to cast it, correct?
Right. I don't want to cast it.
Okay.
I just want to learn it, but she doesn't know if casting it is going to be part of needing to learn it. But it also takes a day, so, you know.
Right. You know
She
there's
hasn't
like you're
slept
not
for a
doing the
while
day
now.
ritual. Yeah, this is going to be about an hour's worth of study here.
Okay.
So, this is an uncommon ritual, which is going to increase the DC to learn this a little bit. But I need you to tell me one thing. You sit down in the dirt next to this grave. Unless you tell me otherwise. Is that...
Nope, that is exactly what I would do. I would sit down to be in proximity, but I'm not going to disturb the grave if I don't have to.
Okay. You begin to learn through this ritual. You begin to read and understand if this body, and you just feel yourself in this proximity of death. You know there is a body here because you buried a body here. But as it talks about particulars and marking of the circle and the setting up of the ritual, there is a component here where it may help to see the body. So I ask you, do you uncover the body? And I will say, if you do not wish to, I will let you attempt this check without doing so or with doing so.
I am trying to connect to Arifey's mind right now.
Yes, take a second. This is important. Please take a
yeah.
second.
Because there's a lot going on for her right now.
And remember, your fear is there.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing is, because also Star knows there's like a part of this too that Arifey may have a problem with, but I want to roleplay that out. So, what do you think, Yafira? Is it
Well,
bad?
Is learning bad? No. I mean, I get it. You don't want to disturb the body, but we don't have to move it or touch it. Can you just uncover it so we can see it? I don't think that's terrible.
And in her mind right now, she's just going through she realizes everything that she's thinking right now is, this person would be disappointed if they knew. This person would be disappointed if they knew. This person would be disappointed if they knew. And it's Infar and Tal and Hideaki's kind of in the middle there somewhere, like not quite sure. Ark would be fine with it. Yafir is fine with it. Infar would be pissed. Ott would be upset. And she's running through everyone.
You feel the shadowed hand on yours on the ground, where it's kind of just like resting as you're leaning on it on the ground. Stop thinking about what everybody else wants.
Okay. Arifey will uncover the body.
Okay. As you go to do this, you begin to feel an itch, a tingling sensation on your left shoulder. You're right.
The
Huh.
one
That one
that
right
one?
there.
Okay, my right side. Okay.
Your right side. I knew that.
My camera mirrors me. That might be why.
Yeah, I was like, it looks like it's your left.
It is my right side.
Okay, so you feel a tingle and an itch on your right chest, near your shoulder. And what are you wearing? Is it something that is it like fully covered, or is it something that you can see?
No, it's my regular. So it's
Like a harnessy,
like my picture.
Yeah, the picture. There we
It's
go.
not what I'm wearing.
It's
In my
perfect.
Picture, yes.
Okay.
That's my regular go-to. I'm digging a grave up in a white long shirt. This is gonna end well.
Of course you are. It's okay. There's enough magic on campus at this point that you know how to like clean this off all the time. There's been blood on it before. It's fine.
That's true.
And so you look down and you see the symbol of Pharasma that has been on you, not a tattoo, a birthmark. This symbol that you have carried on your body, well, at least you think it's been there your whole life. It's hard to piece together fully. And you begin to uncover this body carefully. Do you do it with your hands? Do you have a shovel that you're doing? What are you doing?
I don't think I have anything with me, so I would have to do it with my hands.
And you lean forward and begin to sink your hands into the dirt and uncover this grave and this body. As you do, I need you to make me a perception check.
Natural 20. For a 27.
In the dark, being so in tune to the motion of shadows, you see something shift in the trees. Not next to you, not your shadow. And you look up, your hands still in the dirt of this grave. Suddenly you see a bird fly out from the trees and up. Except what catches your attention is that this bird, this sparrow-like creature, has a mask that looks like a plague doctor's mask. As it flies up, and your attention with this natural 20 does not get distracted by this bird, but looks from where it came. And you see a womanly figure, dressed in flowing spider silk, emerge from the woods. She has pale skin, jet black hair, and as they emerge, you do not need light to see, they wear a mask reminiscent of the shape of a web, covering everything but their mouth. And further, large wings, bat-like, or perhaps devil-like, emerge from their back, the same white as the spider silk they are draped in. The dim light with your dark vision makes the thin strands of webbing that stretch all about her person. Trigger warning spiders in chat, please. Easy to see. Along with, as she continues to step towards you, the swaying of different mammoths and effigies that dangle from her belt and staff. What are you doing?
Arifey stands up and actually gets between this person and Yafira. Like, that is her instant instinct, is to get there.
You look down, Yafira is not there.
Okay.
They have disappeared.
Who are you?
Me? I am not one for you to concern yourself with. What are you doing?
Learning.
You feel the symbol of Pharasma on your chest begin to sear a little bit, and it makes you uncomfortable. This is not the way, child. Do not disturb this grave.
Then how do I learn?
There's so many ways. But tell me, there is something interesting about you. For I've not come here for you. But yet I have been brought here. I will tell you who I am. What I am. If you answer me my questions honestly.
Oh. All right. Yes.
I am but one of many of Pharasma's psychopops. And I am here as an investigator. There is meddling. What deaths have you been near recently?
More than I would have liked.
Do not answer me. What and whose deaths?
How far back are we going? There's stone
You're
ghosts.
delaying.
There's stone ghost. There's been pugwumpies and insects. She hesitates for a moment and goes, "My friend?"
This figure steps forward even closer. And they cross the distance from the woods and stand like you're pretty tall, right?
I think like 5'9".
Okay. They stand a little taller than you. Not otherworldly in size, but a towering figure nonetheless. And as you look, their mask, this spider silk that they're dressed in, it's white. It's this like off-white of spider silk. And you see little spiders between the webs that are from all over them that don't seem to break as she walks. And she steps forward and looks at you. What is this friend's name?
Why?
Where is her grave? Their grave?
Death was not able to take her. Not yet.
What is their name?
Arifey is shorter than this person, so she does feel somewhat intimidated. But she's going to like try and stand as tall as she can at this point. They never made it far enough for death to claim her. Tal is still here.
This towel of yours never made it far enough for Pharasma's judgment. What interfered?
I don't entirely know. What do you intend with Tao?
I intend nothing. I am an extension of Pharasma's will, and nothing more. And you, she looks down and sees the symbol that appears from, like, you can still see it from your dress. You should know better than to do this. She looks towards the grave. If you wish to learn, then tell me what interfered.
I'm trying to remember if Tal told me enough about this. Something in the woods. That's what I know.
I see. Tell me about your friend. What powers does she have?
Arifey's getting a very bad feeling from this. Why do you need to know?
Pharasma has sent me to investigate. If nothing is wrong, you needn't fear. Though this fear is suspicious.
I won't be responsible for my friend dying again. I didn't
No.
save them before.
We do
will
not
stand
take
now.
lives, dear. We usher them where they belong and where they need to go. But we do not take lives, and we do not create undead. Is that clear?
she's like trying to search for Yafira at this point because Yafira was on board. But
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Very well. I'll be keeping an eye. I do not think we have business with your friends, so you needn't fear. I am more interested in what kept her from dying. If you know anything... She kind of just reaches her hand up with her staff, and the bird that flew before flies down and kind of lands at the top of the staff. And you see now this small, again, like sparrow-like bird, black, with a plague doctor mask on top. And you, from your research from before, recognize this as a Nosoi. Another psychopomp, an usher of Pharasma. You tell one of these, and from there, judgments will be made. Pharasma is watching you, dear. She has her eye on you. Well, and the way they said it's like, you know that Pharasma is not necessarily a being in terms of physicality.
She'd be a god.
This has only pinged my radar, and this was interesting to come across. Again, there's like you cannot see their eyes. This mask covers everything, but you see that slight face turn towards the grave. Stay on Pharasma's path. And they reach forward, and with one hand, just sort of tap the symbol. And it burns a little. And you kind of wince. And when you open your eyes, they're gone.
Today's a fucking weird day. And Arifey will recover Kershkin.
You barely made, and like it was just the beginning of this. You did not uncover any piece of Kershkin at this point in time, and you cover this. What do you do with the piece of paper for the ritual?
I'm gonna put it back under my mattress. Like, she's gonna start walking back. She's not gonna get rid of it.
Okay.
Because in the back of her mind, she's like, oh my, this is a weird thing, and everything about it makes it feel real, but she's also going too trusting. So just in case, she's going to abandon this, but she's going to keep the possibility at hand.
I want to offer you two things.
Mm-hmm.
First, do you wish to still, in the time that you have spent, which is not nothing, you have been here for quite some time before deciding to uncover the body, do you wish to make a roll to still try to learn this ritual and have it in the back of Arifey's mind?
You know what? Yes, because in her mind, she's following directions because she covered the body back up.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, we're going to make a roll. Now, it uses... Okay, what skill? Hold on. This is going to be...
I will also say as you're doing that, that anger that she's been feeling is on level 10 right now.
Great.
'Cause Someone else has now told her what to do, and she's angry that she did it. She's gonna do it anyway, but she feels like the decision wasn't hers.
And in a way, almost like taking this back, learning the ritual and still making this roll is a little bit of still your decision in here. And I love that. So, are you expert in any magical?
I am expert in medicine, and that's it. Oh, and will
Not-
save, but no, everything else
Arcana, occultism, or religion?
trained in Arcana, trained in occultism, and trained in religion, but I'm not expert in any of them, no.
Okay. So here's what's gonna happen. Oh, religion feels so appropriate. We're gonna go with religion.
Okay.
An uncommon ritual increases the DC. Not having a body is going to increase the DC. So, go ahead and make me a religion check. You have a hero point. Just remember that.
I'm gonna use it. That was a 2.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Ah, fuck!
For a 27. So yes, I got my yeet.
Yes. Okay. Here's what's up. You learn it. Because as you gather this and step away and collect your things and wipe your hands from the dirt and mud that you have been carefully reconstructing, you realize as you fold this piece of paper and put it away that you still have it in your mind, and that you feel like push comes to shove, you have the knowledge you need to make this happen. And with that, you step back and begin to make your way back towards the more lit portions of campus. And the gentle multicolored glow of enchanted lanterns and lights cast an array of shadows along the ground. But it is only the audience that can watch with me as the shadow behind Arifey stretches and stretches, impossibly long, and into this little alcove from which Arifey had just emerged. And there, in the quiet dark, there is no one to hear the softly spoken words. She can't do it. But that doesn't mean I can't. And there is no one to see a shadowed hand gather a veil of shadows atop the grave of Kershkin. And when that hand pulls away, the earth caves a little inward, as perhaps where what once laid in this grave is no longer there. And that is where we will end tonight's session. Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit. I will add one last little piece, which I forgot to mention earlier, but thanks to this growing friendship with Noxolo, you have also added to your spell repertoire the Grave Impressions spell, the spell that you watched Noxolo cast back in Tireless Hall, as you have that little bonus as well, should you wish to. It is a level 2 spell.
Okay, I have to figure out how to add that into
That's okay.
Path Builder. But what is it called again? Grave
Impressions. Because you can see through corpses. It's great. It's cool. It's totally not sus.
Yes! We're going dark side a little.